Hello everybody and welcome to Italy for the 74th edition of the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations with me, Paul Malin, and Fly Racing's Jason Thomas. We're about to get underway here at the circuit of Mantova in Italy for the 74th edition of this historic event. The first race was back in 1947 at Wassenaar in the Netherlands, just north of The Hague, and it continued to run every year ever since, until last year, of course, when we faced a global pandemic. Often referred to as the Olympics of Motocross or the Motocross World Cup, it is an official FIM World Ranking event, so whichever team lifts the Peter Chamberlain Trophy at the end of the day, they will be officially declared world champions. And after the Dutch victory back in Assen 2019, there have now been 10 winners from different nations. And of course, the team still on top, Team USA, they are not here this weekend, as we know. Great Britain have 16 victories, Belgium 15, and then we have Sweden on 7, France 6, Italy 2, the USSR, well, Russia or MFR 2, and then Germany, Czech Republic, and now the Netherlands with 1. If you're joining us for the first time, it's not such a very warm welcome to Italy. In fact, a very wet one now. We've had rain for the last hour and a half or so. It's gradually picking up as well, but the track is still in very good condition. Modifications to the racetrack since the last time we came here for a Grand Prix. And if you're wondering why they call it the Peter Chamberlain Trophy, well, it's named after the former FIM president, who was not only a huge motocross fan and enthusiast, but hugely responsible for putting this competition on the map. So the riders have just come in from their sighting lap. Let's take a look at how the circuit looked yesterday when it was slightly drier. Glenn Koldenhoff of the Netherlands. They are the defending champions. They will ride 1, 2, 3 this weekend alongside his teammates Roman Mostijk and Jeffrey Hurlings. A short start straight into a very tight left over the Fox hole shot line and down past pit lane into an equally tight turn 2. This is more of a crest now. The first iPhone jump in the past, it's been more of a step down. But then we go through turn 3, the small double here into the 180 turn 4. Expect there to be a lot of bunching up with all 40 riders going to the line for the races today. Exit the turn over a small little single, then we're into the Regione Lombardia jump through the fast sweeping turn 5, and the other side of the Monster Energy jump, we used to go 90 degrees left around about now and then right and down the infield, but as you can see, the circuit extended a little bit longer just to give everybody a bit more chance to sort themselves out. Either way, we end up in this 180 left through a series of waves. If you hit them right, you can double your way towards the end on the outside. The turn has been fixed overnight, but this tabletop still remains. And again, just the other side of the jump, we used to come back right, left, but we're going a little bit longer. Eventually, we do end up in the same turn and back on the original track. Short little Monster Energy jump here. And then we've got the triple over on the far side of the circuit that takes us uphill for the first time. You see the braking bumps starting to appear. They didn't really take those out after the racing yesterday. So the braking bumps dropping at the bottom of this hill here, they will remain the same. And of course, we've had a B final on the racetrack since the guys were out yesterday as well. So the circuit just starting to shape up nicely. Uphill for the second time, and then into the braking zone. I expect there to be a lot of deep ruts by the end of the day today if the rain that we believe is coming arrives. Not so high up now on that bank, and again another change here. Used to be a fast left-right chicane out towards the city jump, but as you see, tightens up left, right, and then we've got a rhythm section here underneath that city banner. You can double on, double off at some point, whichever lane you take. Into the final turn, and then we hit the Monster Energy finish line jump here. And when they land, it's back on the start straight up towards turn 1 to start another lap here at Mantova. So that was the track yesterday. You can see there's lots of umbrellas down there on the grid as the riders prepare to go to the line. A few moments ago, Lisa was down on the grid. She caught up with Benoit Paturel from Team France. And before that, Roman Mostijk of the Netherlands.
Welcome to the start of the very first race of the day, MXGP and MX2 guys. Now, they predicted rain and they weren't wrong. There is a lot of it, but it doesn't matter, the show has to go on. Let's speak to Team Netherlands' Roan van der Moosdijk, because yesterday we saw just how important the gate picks were. You guys were pretty much had the second to last gate pick, and all of you had bad starts, and it was hard work. It's not going to be that story today, is it? You've got pole position, so tell us how you're feeling.
Yes, yesterday was tough. We knew it up front. We had gate pick 29. I had a little tip over in the first corner, and I tried as hard as I could to come back through the field, and I came back to 9. And Glenn and Jeffrey did a great job, so we qualified first. And it's my first MX of Nations, so I'm really looking forward.
Of course, it is your first Motocross of Nations, and you're coming in with Team Netherlands as the defending champions. Are there nerves there, or is it just pretty much excitement all the way at the moment?
Of course, a little nerves, but most of the time it's excitement, and I'm just looking forward.
Best of luck. Have a great day. Thanks, Roan. Now, a rider that's no stranger to the Motocross of Nations is Team France, Benoit Paturel. Benoit, you won the Motocross of Nations, I think, 5 years ago with Team France. You have two less experienced teammates. What advice have you given them coming into this event?
Yes, I just say to the teammate to ride like he know. Tom rides really good. He showed it yesterday, so he's really in shape. And Mathis also had a lot of fun with the 450, so I think we have a good chance today. We need to ride like we know and enjoy.
A strong qualifying session for you yesterday, finishing P4, but it's going to be a totally different racetrack today, isn't it?
Yes, it's really technical today with the rain, so we need to take a good start and stay focused and do every lap strong, and will be a good result.
Best of luck to you and the team. Thank you, Benoit. Okay, we're almost ready. It's time for the very first race, MXGP and MX2.
So a few moments ago then, the riders did disappear out on track for their sighting lap, and they would have seen the circuit for the first time in a couple of hours when it was absolutely perfect this morning, perfect amount of moisture in the ground. And you see Conrad Muse going over the bridge there for Great Britain, and Max Nagel for Germany. So here's how the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations work and how it is scored. 3 riders per team. There are 3 races on Sunday. The first is MXGP and MX2. The second one, MX2 and MX Open. And the third is MXGP and MX Open. Where you finish is what you score. So, first place is 1 point, 10th is 10 points. And the best 5 out of 6 results count. The worst result gets dropped. And the lowest team total wins. So down on the start grid then. This is how they line up, how they qualified yesterday. Netherlands go to the line first with France, Italy, Great Britain, Germany, Latvia, Denmark, Canada. The first 19 qualified through the official system yesterday. The B final was won by Finland, so they will be the final nation going to the gate, team number 20. There's Antonio Cairoli, Jason Thomas, Fly Racing. We were just looking out of our window. We're perfectly placed for the riders to line up on the gate. And even though the Netherlands had first choice, a very interesting decision for Glenn Koldenoff to go to gate 11.
Yeah, and also just to his left, Ben Watson. So very confusing decision so far. The insides have dominated every start throughout the weekend. We see guys moving to the outside. We see Tony Cairoli far to the left, giving the MX2 rider, Mattia Guadagnini from Team Italia, the inside gate.
Fly Racing 15-second board up for the first time then. Some teams have put the 250 up the inside. France, one of those nations. So too Italy with Guadagnini. Max Nagel is down the inside for Germany. The 5-second board has turned. We are getting ready to go. MX on 74. It bursts into life here in Mantova. It's going to be a very interesting first turn. And Cairoli ran the outside, and he and Koldenoff both go down.
Just what I was fearful of. That first turn, the outsides have not worked throughout the weekend, and they're already paying the price for it.
So Cairoli, Team Italy, favourites Glenn Koldenoff, the defending champions. Already drama here, going into the first corner in Mantova. And leading the way is that Latvia with the 22 of Carlos Sabelis, like he did in the heat race yesterday. Yes, it is. We've got Spain with Ander Valentin in second position as well.
Well, if you're looking for uncertainty, you're looking for an unlikely result. This is what happens. First turn crashes. You see Tom Vial moving to the front, and that's why you give your best rider the best shot up the inside, and France has done that with Vial.
Tom Vial just finding his way past Jose Boutron. Inside gate pick 14 France. They put their quickest and best starter down the inside, and it has paid off. So Tom Vial in second place. Jose Boutron for Spain is in third position.
You wonder sometimes how Team France has won 5 races out of the last 6 goes here. This is why they make smart decisions. They're very wise. Their strategy seems to work each and every year.
Streaking away uphill for the first time, Team Latvia's Carlos Sabelis leads away from the MX2 rider Tom Vial of France on the KTM. Third is Jose Boutron of Spain. Fourth is the number 31 of Arno Tonis in Switzerland. Fifth, I think, is the 78 there. Is it the 78? 73, Seba Brilyakov, I think, actually. So a good start for MFR as well.
Nice to see Tonis up there. He's had a really tough season so far. Easily the highlight of the year.
Look at the riders coming through here as well. There's Roman Mostijk just going uphill. His teammate Koldenoff was down at turn 1. He's got a lot of work to do. He's got Everts just alongside him there in the baby blue for Belgium as banging bars going on at the bottom of the hillside.
This is so tough. These guys already can't see. They're dealing with rain, dealing with mud, splashing water, and yeah, we're not even through lap 1 yet.
We'll get to the end of this first lap and we'll try and make sense of what is going on. But as it stands right now, Sabelis leads from Vial. Boutron is third of Spain. Tonis for Switzerland. Olsen, Denmark. Then Watson in 6th place. Guadagnini 7th for Italy. And the second MX2 rider, so that's going to be 7 points for them. Cyril Janot is 8th for Belgium. Brilyakov 9. Gifting 10. Dovidas Karko, Lithuania is 11th. Then we've got Kresinov, Hoffer, Nagel, Harup, Petroshin, Paturel, Dylan Wright of Canada, Liam Everts, Roman Mostijk, and then Sandner. Muse in 23rd place, Cairoli 25th. And a rider down in the turn. Who was that? I was looking at the timing screen.
Couldn't tell if that was Vial. It was Vial.
Yeah,
so big mistake there, just what he didn't need. He was set up perfectly in 2nd place, and now not so bad. He's still 5th or 6th, but what an opportunity he just threw away there.
This was Vial just losing the front end, possibly. Yeah, coming out of the turn, maybe. But out of 2nd position, a couple of riders going past. So he will probably pick himself up in around 4th or 5th place. But like you said, Jason Thomas, Fly Racing, he was in a perfect position there to do something about Carlos Sabelis and be the lead rider on track, not just the lead MX2 rider.
Well, and you still look around, the riders in front of him. I don't think it's anything that he can't deal with. He's dealing with a lot of MXGP riders that aren't typically at the front, Jose Boutron. So he needs to move himself back to the front. His teammate Benoit Paturel sees himself in 17th, so they need this positive score at the front.
So TKO, Thomas Olsen is there in 4th place now. He has just found his way past the number 31 of Tonis. Moves into 4th, 3rd maybe actually, behind Boutron. So Boutron now in 2nd. Sabelis with probably about a 3 or 4 second advantage for Latvia. And there he is already in the big roller there. So Boutron, and here's Thomas Kjær Olsen for Denmark in 3rd place. The best we've seen him ride so far this year, possibly on an MXGP bike. Definitely spurred on by the fact that he's got the Danish colours all over him, going after Jose Boutron.
What do you think the betting odds would have been for Sabelis, Boutron, Tonis, and Olsen to be your running order at the end of 2 laps?
You would have got very good odds. So Sabelis leads. 4 seconds clear. Olsen, the fastest rider on track, fastest lap of the race so far, coming through traffic. He sits in 3rd place. There's Tonis 4th. Then Vial is in 5th position as Olsen looks to go around the outside of Boutron, and he'll take 2nd away from the Spaniard.
You know, one of the most interesting aspects of this event is watching the MX2 riders versus the big 450s, and that's what I want to see from Vial. Can he make a pass on an already difficult track to pass on the underpowered bike?
I was out on the track before the start of the race, and actually, because of the hard nature of the ground underneath, there are a lot of soft spots, like very slippery, that can catch you out. And I wonder if that was what happened with Tom Vial a couple of laps ago.
Well, the traction is going to be changing constantly throughout the day, and it's really unpredictable. Just as you said, you may think you have great traction, but if it has that hard base, the front tire can get away from you before you even realize it.
Right, keep an eye. Keep an eye on Vial, I was about to say, but Mikkel Harup of Denmark So Denmark with Olsen up in third place, second place. Mikkel Harup.
Oh, you see Vial get aggressive there. That's what he needs to do, though. I don't know if you want to make contact there. Obviously, he gives a wave to say he apologizes there, but to get past these 450s, you're going to have to be aggressive.
This was Olsen a moment ago, around the outside of Boutron from third to second. The Dane overtaking the Spaniard.
Much cleaner pass there. That's how you want to do it. You know, line them up, get down the inside, and make it look easy.
So all changed then. We've got Olsen in second. Sabelis still leading the way. Olsen second. Spain, yellow and red there. Jose Boutron third. Tom Vial, France, is in fourth position after that pass on Arno Tonus. And then just behind him is Arno Tonus still for Switzerland. But behind them, Ben Watson. So Watson, the lead Brit then. He finds himself in around sixth place as it stands right now. And obviously he had a fantastic start to the race yesterday, led for a number of laps before being overhauled by Antonio Cairoli, who is where? Well, Guadagnini is in seventh place. Tony Cairoli is 22nd at the moment, and Coldenhoff 26 after they fell at turn one.
You just see how clean Boutron is there, and that's the benefit of a good start. He doesn't even look like he's even dirty yet. Where Vial, who had a great start, went down, he's already covered in mud.
Just saw Antonio Cairoli there. And here he is, the number 46. The last thing he wanted was to go down at the first turn, but we did say when, and he's now in 19th, by the way, we did say that if it rains, it's going to be a good leveler for everybody here. Some can ride mud, some ride it better than others.
And he's coming up on Sievenin, who is the winner of the B final. He's got a lot of work ahead of him. Each pass is going to count here. I'm sure they're hoping that they'll be able to throw this result away, but you can't count on anything in this race.
Right, let's have a look at the replay of the start then, shall we? We'll keep an eye on Tony Cairoli over on the left-hand side. There he is, just streaking across. He gets in there, and I think Coldenhoff just got in too hot, had nowhere to go, tagged Cairoli. They both went down, the defending champions and the favourites.
Not much you can do from the outside. They got there first, but if you can't turn and the mud is slippery, yeah, bad things happen.
So back with the action. There is Cairoli just behind these two or three riders. And the number 74, Timur Petroshin, just there, just going out of sight. So Petroshin riding for MFR. And then we've got the Lithuanian, I think that's Dovydas Karka just ahead of him in yellow. So the MX2 rider.
You see Tony in the background there just weaving all over the racetrack, trying to find passing lines. And I think it actually worked well for him yesterday, having to move through the pack. He's probably had several lines in his back pocket that he can use to move through the field.
Right, battle for the lead. Thomas Kjær Olsen has closed in on Carlis Sabelis of Latvia. It's not going to be long before the big man, TKO, finds a way through and into the lead. He's worked his way onto the rear wheel of the 22. Not in easy conditions either, often eating roost, and you can see just constantly pulling on the roll-offs. And look by comparison how clean the number 22 is. If he goes inside, Olsen may go around the outside like he did on Boutron. That's exactly what he does, gets better drive, but the door gets closed on the exit of the turn.
Well, and he's doing all the right things. He's not following, he's staying out of the roost, and you're going to see he's going to carry momentum up the inside here and probably get the pass to stick.
Olsen up on the left-hand side as they go into this left-hander, and he parks Sabelis, but they're still side by side as they hit the next jump. Sabelis trying to close the door, but it's Olsen who goes through and takes over the lead on lap 5.
Well, just an unlikely lead duo here. You know, Olsen was a MX2 star, but he's really had a rough go in his initial MXGP season, but nice to see him having some success at Motocross of Nations.
So Olsen then, haven't seen him up at the sharp end in a while, not since MX2 when he was on the podium here actually last year in MX2. Won 2 of the Grand Prix here actually. Over on the far side of the circuit then, we've got Olsen who now leads Sabelis. Vial is up to third again. Nagel for Germany is out, and he looks like he's maybe been off as well because he's lost the front number board. There's Vial closing in third position. He's put some distance between himself and Jose Boutron. Watson, I think, is up to fourth actually, because it wasn't the red and orange. Let's just zoom out. Yeah, Watson down there in red. And so too, Tonus finding a way past Boutron.
You don't want to jump to conclusions, but Vial looks like he's on the pace to make this a race at the front. His last lap was a 2:05 there. a little bit slower than TKO, but you know, Vial is so comfortable at the front. I truly believe he expects to find himself at the front at the end.
And Ben Watson in the 204s as well, so he could close in on the Frenchman. As it stands right now, by the way, let's give you some indication. Team France lead the way on 15 with a 12th and a 3rd. Belgium a 2nd on 25 with an 8th and a 17th. Italy on 27 with a 20th and a 7th. And then we've got MFR in 4th place.
See Guadagnini getting past Butron. Nice ride from him. He really needs to make every point count here with his teammate under duress.
Yeah, Jose Butron not used to being this far up in MXGP. Obviously not done so many races this year. But you can see the Spaniard now just starting to fall back as Guadagnini goes through. Also followed by Mira Sieven, is that Cyril Janot, number 4. Good ride from Cyril Janot, number 4 for Belgium, actually, then.
See Isaac Gifting sneaking into the back of the screen there. Nice to see a nice performance from him.
And this is Severbryllikov. So Severbryllikov finding his way past Jose Butron as well now, so possibly up into 8th place. The rider for MFR on the JWR Honda. Then you've got the 41 of Isaac Gifting as well. He's still in 10th position.
This is the struggle for Butron. You get a great start, you put in a few good laps, and you think you've got a gap, and then you look behind you, and there's just a never-ending stream of riders coming through.
Isaac Gifting getting ready to go by Spain's Jose Butron. There's Watson, the first real sighting we've had of the number 7 for Team Great Britain. Where is his teammate, Conrad Mewse? He's in 22nd place, but that keeps Great Britain in 4th. And Watson has Vial in his sights at the bottom of the hill. Look, so there's Sabalis, Vial, Watson. Here is TKO. He had about a 2.6-second gap at the end of lap 5. We are on lap 6. The rain continues to fall, lightning over on the distance as well.
Pretty impressed by Tonis here. He's just behind Watson in 5th place. We haven't seen much of him, and then when we have, it seems like he's on the ground. So nice to see him show up, put in a strong ride for Team Switzerland.
Vial down the inside of Carlos Sabalis. This is going to be for 2nd position. The Frenchman on the MX2 bike.
Well, and this is why France put Vial at the front, right? They wanted him on the inside. They knew a performance like this was possible. And your MX2 result is so critical at this event. And to see him inside the top 3 gives them such a head start.
205.2, 204.0. Olsen and Vial, the gap 2.9 seconds as it stands right now between 1st and 2nd. So Denmark lead, France lead Latvia there, 22, Sabalis.
Well, you look at the points, and France is already out to a 10-point lead. And surely this will change. We'll have a throwaway race, and Tony Cairoli will certainly move through the standings as well. But what an early jump ahead for Team France, as usual.
We were down on the grid as the riders were sort of taking their positions in the waiting zone before their sighting lap. And we both agreed, those with the 250s, you need to give them a chance at the inside, the fast starting. That's exactly what France have done. But I'm guessing now, okay, you don't know, you can't predict the first turn, but should Koldenhoff have gone gate number 1, 2 or 3, would have kept out of that kind of trouble, definitely.
I believe so. I don't really understand that gate choice all throughout the weekend, whether it's been in the qualifying races yesterday or the B final.
Cairoli, goggle lane being used.
Well, that's not going to help his lap time, obviously, but if you can't see, it's really hard to continue. So,
but it's easier to see whether you've got clean goggles on than trying to avoid the roost in the eyes. So Tony Cairoli then, who was in 19th place.
I really question the decision to not put Cairoli on the inside from the start. I think for France it was the right decision, but for Italy, put Cairoli on the inside, hope to get the race win, and I think that puts you, on the right path, and let Guadagnini fight through the field. Maybe he gets a 15th. That's okay. Maybe you don't even need that result.
Yeah. But for sure, when you see his performance from yesterday, Tony Cairoli, I know he's riding injured, and he said he wasn't feeling good and pain all over, but you wouldn't have thought that from watching him ride yesterday, where he came from, he started about 4th, dropped about 7th or 8th, got back to win the race in what was only a 20-minute +2.
Well, and race wins at this event are so critical. And for Cairoli, he can win. He could, we look out front and we see TKO. Sorry, but Cairoli's a much superior rider to TKO. A 1 and a race win is so valuable at this event.
Conrad Mewse, number 8, and the German Simon Langenfelder, number 20, just ahead of him. Mewse did have the upper hand, but Langenfelder going back past on that triple. So Mewse not enjoying these conditions. He is in 21st position. But yesterday, a different rider in the dry conditions. But Watson has found his way past Sabalis and is now up into third. Great ride from B-Dub.
You know, these conditions seem to work well. We saw his brother 2 years ago in Assen end up on the podium for Team GB. So something about this event in mud works for the Watson family.
Yesterday he seemed to hit a bit of a wall, and you know, talking to different people within the camp, you know, his dad included, I think it's just the case that, you know, being an MXGP on the bigger bike, just not used to pushing like he was at the beginning of the race, you know, and you could do it all down at 250, but just missing that little bit. But these conditions, as we said, the pace a little bit less than yesterday. Hopefully he can maintain that good form, that good rhythm, and close in on the two guys ahead of him. But look at the pressure now that Tom Vial is putting on Thomas Olsen. His first Motocross Nations for Team France. And Vial, fantastic start, drew away second position, picked himself up, and all of a sudden Vial is challenging for the lead once again with 14 minutes plus 2 laps to go.
Yeah, just a great ride from Vial, and you wondered how he would respond from that mistake. He finds himself on the ground. Surely his gloves were muddy, his grips are muddy. It's a lot harder to grip the bike. And yeah, didn't seem to phase him at all. He's closed down the gap to the lead and might grab a race win. We don't know how Watson's going to respond. Watson's right back there too, but I just like the overcoming adversity from Vial so far.
Oh, almost off the side of the track and into the bank, but he manages to keep it on 2 wheels. He's closing in on a race leader here, Thomas Kjær Olsen. So Tom Vial goes wide. Thought he was going to cut back to the inside, but Olsen read it well. Oh, back end gets a kick there. Different rhythm for the Frenchman. Still can't find a way past the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, the big 450 of Thomas Olsen.
You know, these situations, you either have to hang back and stay out of the roost, or when you get close, make the move quickly. The worst thing you can do is sit right in that spray and burn up your goggles, and you can't see. So we'll see if he hangs back out of that zone or actually forces the pass here soon.
Ben Watson, GB, is gradually closing in on Tom Vial in that third position. 205.6 for Olsen, 204.5, 204.3 for the Brit. There you see him just coming out of the turn behind the number 14 KTM rider here for Team France. Then we've got Tonus in fourth for Switzerland. He's the third best MXGP rider as it stands right now. Sabalis is in fifth place. Guadagnini, the second MX2 rider, in sixth for Italy. Janot for Belgium in seventh. Brulikov eighth. Hoffer ninth for Austria. Boutron is still in 10th place ahead of Benoit Paturel, the wingman to the number 14 here of Vial, which is why they're so well placed in this competition at the moment. 13 points with an 11th and a second. And then Belgium on 22, 7 and 15.
Paturel's done a nice job. The first time I saw him on the screen there, he was 19th. He's moved up to 11th. Have to think he's going to continue his move forward. And all that does is strengthen the position here of Vial.
Once again, Tom Vial closing in on the rear wheel of Olsen.
Watson, it's allowed Watson to close up here. You know, he had a nice gap, and the deteriorating pace of Olsen has brought Watson into the battle.
Ben Watson would have loved to have won the qualifying race yesterday. It wasn't to be, but he can win this race in these conditions against these two riders ahead of him. He just needs to maintain his composure, and I'm sure he will be able to do that.
Watch for Vial to try to make a move up the inside here if he's aggressive. Well,
I think Olsen
nice
read it from last time.
Move. Yeah, nice defensive move from Olsen there.
So nothing in it between the first three riders. They were separated by 3.3 at the end of lap 8. We are working our way towards the end of lap 9. We've got back markers on the horizon there. Number 83 for Lithuania of Erinades Makonis. .4 seconds separate the first three, and they had to be aggressive with the back marker there from Lithuania. Watson may have just caught the back marker at a wrong moment. Vial still hasn't found his way past Thomas Olsen, but he might get good drive through here. Still not able to execute a move, but just goes to show how strong those 250 KTMs are as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's difficult though. He's got to carry so much momentum to offset the torque of TKO's 450. But he's setting up a move here. If he can carry momentum around the outside, there may be an opportunity.
Might be able to cut back to the inside. That's exactly what he tries. But I tell you what, it's very, very greasy underneath there. And you see him spinning up, even with a paddle tire.
Well, and TKO put his 450 right in the path of Vial. He knew where that move was going to come from.
Yeah, slow down the pace of Vial just so that he kills all that speed, and he can't carry that momentum around the turns. That will be Olsen's kind of psyche in terms of keeping him at bay if he can. But there is Watson right behind them now in third for Team GB.
Yeah, this is the perfect scenario for Watson. The pace is slowed. It's allowed him to get into the fight. And Watson could pull a 2 for 1 here if he times this perfectly.
Just looking down the leaderboard, Glenn Koldenoff, who fell at turn 1 as we look at the top 3 riders. Koldenoff is now 20th. The goggle change has cost Cairoli because he's in 24th. Surely the favourites have to be considering throwing that one away. And I wonder if, you know, part of the reason why he is there, yes, I'm sure he would love to try and get himself high up the leaderboard, but in his mind, maybe he knows he can do something in the next race. Yeah,
the only saving grace here is that Guadagnini's done a great job to move himself into 6th. In the MX2, in the overall. I would have said that's a difficult result to achieve, but you look at Koldenhoff in the back, Langenfelder in the back, Cairoli in the back, so it's opened up a few spots in the front.
10 laps complete. TKO has 1.4 seconds, and there's thunder rumbling all around this Mantova racetrack. We've seen a few flashes of light as well, and back marker needs to stay out of the way, and he does that. Nikolai Malinov of Bulgaria in their first ever Nations qualification. There's 13, Benoit Paturel. He is in 10th place, so a perfect wingman. He's already got a gold medal, of course, from Maggiore in 2016 with Team France.
He's done exactly what he needed to do. He knew the situation was going to be difficult starting on the outside, but he's fought through the pack. He stayed out of trouble, which is something that Cairoli and Koldenhoff were unable to do. And you look at the scorecard, they're already up 10 points because of it.
Having to regroup. Tom Vial looking for slightly different lines. He's still got Watson there, but Watson not really closing down the gap. This last couple of laps, he's there, but it's just incremental sort of millimeters and inches, if you like, you know, just gradually getting there.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed by Olsen's poise here. He had a ton of pressure, and he really hasn't made a mistake. He hasn't left the door open anywhere for Vial to sneak through, and it doesn't seem like he's feeling any pressure.
Just looking for Conrad Muse, teammate to Watson, and he's down in 25th now, so going downhill, going backwards. So starting to, and the thing is with the Motocross Nations, Jason Thomas from Fly Racing, we know that you can throw away a score because obviously 3 races, 2 rides each, and that's 6 scores. Throw away your worst opportunity or your worst score. Cairoli, oh, look at the goggle lane. They're queuing up to get in and out of there now. But with Cairoli, Italy will be hoping that's the result they throw away. Britain, Conrad Muse is 25th. That's the result they hope to be throwing away. France, so consistent at the moment.
But you can't imagine Tony Cairoli's result being one that you were hoping to throw away.
No.
Coming in, he's your best rider. He's a 9-time world champion, and for him to not have one of his scores count is it's a pretty lethal blow.
Well, it also gives us an indication. Race 2 that comes up after this one, obviously 40-odd minutes later or so, when they go to the line with the MX2 rider Tom Vial, who's in 2nd, and Alessandro Lupino, the open class rider, you have to feel Vial will go to the inside again.
I would think so. I think it was the smart move. I think it'll be the smart move again. You see how well he's riding. Put him in a position to succeed. He's a great starter. He's a great racer from the front. He manages these situations well. And yeah, it sucks for Lupino. It's a difficult challenge to ask of him. Same for Paturel. But if you can fight through and get a top 10, just like Paturel has, you see how nicely it sets you up for an overall finish.
So Thomas Kjærulff, and you know what, off the top of my head, I don't ever recall Denmark, even through all the research that I've been doing, I don't think Denmark have ever won a race in the Motocross of Nations, an individual race like this.
Well, and he's earned it. I mean, this is a great ride.
Oh, Sabalis throwing away position. So Sabalis out of 5th place. That is going to promote Guadagnini for Italy. And just trying to straighten those bars is also going to promote Cyril Janot of Belgium. Here's what happened. Oh, he just got into Guadagnini. Guadagnini stumbled coming out of the turn. Then he just got too close. But Guadagnini was already past Sabalis and into that 5th place. So it'll be interesting to see where he is. Because the Latvian, number 22, Marius Pumpas, his wingman.
What do you make of Vial and Watson being stuck back here? I really thought we would have a 3-way battle for the lead, and it seems like maybe they're pacing themselves, or are they avoiding the roost? What do you make of this?
I think the track is now, they're on a race line as Harp goes out for Team Denmark. So he is the teammate to Thomas Kjær Olsen, who leads the race. I just think they're not looking to try lines like the bottom of the first downhill. We're just the other side of the aero banner there. I was down there this morning in practice, and yes, they'd worked on it right against the bank on the outside. Nobody was really trying it. I saw Brent Van Donnick try it one time, I think, and another rider, and I thought, actually, there's some good drive around that outside for when those lines on the inside, and now they're all following the race, like what they think is the race line. You know what it's like, Jason, when conditions get heavy, you don't want to get stuck, you don't want to get bogged down, and you go for that clean line. I think they're just on the same pace because they're using the same line now. Yeah, and I just wonder if they're regrouping and setting up for another run here. But again, very impressed by TKO. I thought he was really going to be under attack by this point of the race, and whether he's found another gear and become more comfortable with the pace, it doesn't seem like he's affected by any sort of pressure at all. He only had 1.9 over Vial, and Vial is still right there. He's just found his way past the back marker, going into that left-hander at the end of the straight. You'll see him flash into view. There he is, and there is Watson. So all three past traffic. 4 minutes plus 2 to go. Is Vial going to be the one that puts that last charge? We've seen him do it in MX2, and it looks like he's getting interested for going after the win here. He's sat back, saving his goggles perhaps as well. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And I also think he's looking for a way around. You saw him get up there, try a few things that didn't work. There is no real purpose in sitting on his wheel. All you're going to do is blow your goggles out, and then there's no pass to be made. So you watch, you see where TKO goes. Maybe those are vulnerable spot on the racetrack. Close in and make the move all at once. Just looking at the classification then, France on 11, Belgium 21, MFR third on 25, Great Britain on 27 with a third and the 24th. So that's where Conrad Muse is at the moment. Italy in fifth on 28 with a 23 from Tony Cairoli and a 5 from Mattia Guadagnini. Lap times are 2:05 as it stands right now. In the open class yesterday, Tony Cairoli 1:54 fastest lap on lap 8, so it gives you an indication the difference in time. The track might be a little bit slower. It is Sunday at Motocross of Nations, so this is to be expected. Yeah, Matterley, Red Mud, yeah. Assen. Yeah. And actually, it was announced last night, wasn't it? The 2022 edition of the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations. And struggling for goggles there, Tom Vial will be at Redbud. Well, I didn't sleep last night, Paul. Not very excited. Was working on hotel and airline reservations throughout the night. And no, it's an exciting time for Americans to get that event back. Of course, they weren't able to make it this year because of all the COVID-19 uncertainty. But I can tell you, fans, riders, industry, everyone's excited to have another event in the USA. So a slight blip then for Tom Vial in second as he rounded out turn 2. Struggling with his goggles. I wasn't sure if he's got roll-offs, hasn't he? So I just wonder whether it was just stuck to the film or whether it's something else. Yeah, that can definitely happen with the rain. You get the water behind the lens and it gets just like a sticking, as you mentioned, and it's really difficult to deal with. But he seems to be fine now. That was a really not likely spot to be pulling a roll-off, so something had to be really bothering him there. 1.4 the gap as they went over the line. Then he lost that little bit of time. There's Dirk Grubel, obviously the team manager for his team at MX2 normally, at Red Bull KTM. You want a race win here if you're Team France, but I think this result is more than okay. To ask your MX2 rider to be second in race 1 is a great result. You've had a fantastic performance by Benoit Petrel to move into 9th from a poor start, so things are really shaping up for France. You just want to make smart decisions here. If the race win comes, great. If not, you already avoided one crash he's been able to overcome, and yeah, just what a performance from France. So it's going to be 3 laps to go with lap times more than 2:05, 2:06. We've got about a minute left to run of normal time. So 3 laps to go this time around. The first race of the 74th edition FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations. MXGP riders against MX2 riders. And it is the Dane, Thomas Kjær Olsen, leading the way for his country, Denmark, number 28. There he is. He now has 1.4, so still about the same as it was a lap ago. Watson just being left behind now in 3rd place for Team Great Britain. Wasn't able to sustain that pressure that he found sort of in the first half, 2/3 of the race.
Well, and he had an opportunity there with Vial going for the roll-off to close in. And it's really hard to put in consistent laps here, though. It's almost a yo-yo effect where you make a mistake, the rider in front of you makes a mistake, and it's back and forth.
So 2.5 laps to go. And Thomas Kjær Olsen.
Really haven't seen him put a foot wrong here.
No.
You know, the pace wasn't exactly what he wanted earlier in the moto, but I don't know if he found a few new lines or really just smoothed out his riding, but since then, not really under pressure.
Olsen leads, Vial second, Watson third, Tonus fourth, Guadagnini, Italy, is in 5th place, and he's about 5 seconds behind the Swiss rider. 6 is Genoa, Belgium. 7, Brilyakov, MFR. 8, Hoffer, Austria. 9, Paturel, France, and Sabalis 10 now. So when he fell, he was in 6th position, so losing 4 points for Team Latvia. The track is only going to get worse, but fortunately, I don't know. Actually, Assen a couple of years ago, the amount of rain that we had there, I thought it actually took it very, very well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how we go through the day. It's only supposed to rain more as these races continue, and it's already deteriorating significantly from the beginning of this race.
And you can see actually from that shot, the middle hill, that middle loop at the bottom of the hill there, just and Jeannot with no goggles for Team Belgium. He is in 6th position. Fortunately, he has just over 2 laps to go. Doesn't like he's got too many people in front of him. There's Guadagnini coming around the corner in blue for Italy in 5th. But an impressive ride for Cyril Jeannot, literally a last-minute call-up 1 week out from the event. And his first Motocross of Nations, not a big name in Belgium, but doing his country proud at the moment.
Yeah, as an apparel sponsor, I appreciate his effort here to save those goggles for next moto, but you might want to go ahead and throw those away. They seem like they're a pretty big nuisance right now.
He's still got some tear-offs on there. We'll use them as well next time around.
It's okay. Just go ahead and throw those. We'll get you some new ones.
Yeah, yeah. But that's privateer status right there.
It is. Conserve at all costs.
So 2 laps to go. Olsen and Vial only 1.2 seconds apart. So the Frenchman is just inching closer to a potential first victory at his first MX on, if you like. And here is, there is the gap actually. There is Olsen, and right there on cue, Tom Vial.
It almost seems that the top 3 have settled into the pace, and you don't really see any challenges. I think they understand that the track is kind of going away from them. We'll see if Vial can mount anything here. It looks like he's certainly trying, but really hasn't been able to close the gap. And sometimes when the track is like this, the harder you try, the more mistakes you make, and your pace slows down.
Ben Watson rejoining the party. So in actual, obviously this is MXGP riders and MX2 riders. The MX2 on the 250cc machines. Tom Vial in 2nd position is the lead MX2 rider. Guadagnini, Italy in 5th is the 2nd MX2 rider. Hoffer is 3rd, so Red Bull KTM's 1, 2, 3. He's in 8th in the actual race. And then we've got 4 MX2 riders locked together. Gifting and Everts 4th and 5th, with Langenfelder and Van den Moosdijk in 17th, just ahead of his teammate Glenn Coldenhoff.
Well, and another aspect of this is both of the riders in 1st and 3rd, Olsen and Watson, are MXGP rookies, racing Vial, who's an MX2 world champion. So they've all raced each other for years, right? So this is kind of familiar environment. The CCs have changed, the displacements have changed, but the environment is the same.
I don't think Vial's wearing goggles just from that graphic there as he came into that turn. Looks like he may have thrown him off somewhere. Yeah, Vial. Or no, he still has them on.
Yeah, and if he does indeed pull them,
he has.
Yeah. That's really going to disallow any move, because as soon as he gets to the rear wheel of Olsen, he's just going to get sprayed in the eyes with mud. So look for him just to try to maintain here. I would be shocked if he tries to make a move at all.
Into the final lap, Olsen, Vial, Watson separated by 3.6 seconds. That rider there in 2nd position, Tom Vial, in the top MX2 rider. Now without goggles in the final lap of this race, he's going to get roosted off the back marker. If he tries to make a pass on Olsen, he's going to get roosted there. That may just play into the hands of Watson, but Watson, I think, just too far back to make anything happen this late stage in the race, Jason.
Well, you see how far Vial went to the left to get out of any potential spray. You have to be so mindful. One eyeful of roost right now could be catastrophic to this moto, and he knows that. Every racer at this level has raced without goggles, and it's just a little bit of a different approach. You just have to be a little bit more careful.
He's banking on a mistake now from Olsen, just to lose the front or something in a turn, or just hit a neutral somewhere in a corner, you know, lose that drive just to get back on the rear wheel of him. But Olsen has been solid all race long for Denmark.
Yeah, and I wonder how willing he is to even get there. You know you're asking to get some mud in the eye. You see Patrell, I've mentioned him several times for this moto, but a really admirable performance to get up tonight.
Yeah, and a rider who's had health issues at the start of the year as well, so it hasn't been back on the bike. In fact, I think Sardinia was his first race back, wasn't it? So,
well, and this would be the second team he's been on where he was a questionable choice. I remember back in Majora in 2015, everyone was kind of wondering, how would Patrell do? Yet again, they win. So if they win today, I think the questions about Patrell will be silenced.
Handful of corners to go. TKO, Thomas Kjær Olsen for Denmark. The 14 on the KTM for Team France. Coming into view any moment now underneath the Bitchy banner. 2 corners from home. Big moment this for TKO. The run down towards the finish line. The Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider and Team Denmark round out the final turn, and Thomas Kjær Olsen wins race 1 here at the Monster Energy Motocross of Nations in Mantova. VL second, and I'm sure that is a first ever win for Denmark in this event. They've never won it, but fantastic performance from Olsen. VL equally so. A great start from the inside gates, which is what he wanted. Watson, fantastic in 3rd position as well. Still gives Great Britain some hope, and of course, any one of those nations. And we just see Maris Pempas there, the other Latvian. He was 29th, just got lapped at the finish there. But we've still got riders coming through. But as it stands right now, we've got Olsen, Vial, Watson, Tonus 4th for Switzerland, Guadagnini 5th for Italy, Cyril Genot, and a rider down.
It's one of the Venezuelan riders. I think he was maybe a lap down.
But taking out, was that Guadagnini? Did he try to take out there? No, it wasn't. But Patrell. So Olsen wins it from Vial, Watson, Tonus, Guadagnini, Genot 6 for Belgium, Brilikov MFR 7, Renihoffer 8, Patrell 9, but almost got took out by a backmarker. Then Sabalis comes over the line in 10th for Latvia. But here is Lisa Leyland with our winner from race 1, Thomas Kjær Olsen.
Thomas Kjær Olsen, that is the best we've seen you ride all year. Fantastic job defending that lead from Tom Vial.
Yeah, it was a great race. I felt really good in the beginning, but ran into a little bit of arm pump, and I saw Tom was behind me, but I just tried to focus on myself and my own lines, and that really worked out for me. The track was getting more slippery every lap, so it was definitely a challenge.
Good luck for the next race. Thank you.
And the first person to congratulate him there, bravo, Antti Pyränen. But fantastic effort and performance from the number 28, Thomas Kjær Olsen, who wins race 1 here at the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations in Italy at Mantova. Are we going to see Denmark on the podium? Who knows? But also, Tom Vial, Ben Watson rounding out the top 3. Big win that, though, for the Big Dane. Here's the confirmation as we have it then. Olsen for Denmark, Vial, France, Watson, Britain 3rd, Tonus, Switzerland 4th, Guadagnini, Italy, Genot, Belgium, MFRs, Brilikov 7, and Renihoffer, Austria 8. 9th for Benoit Patrell, France, and then Sabalis, Latvia, Wright, Canada, Boutron, Spain, Kresenov of Estonia, Gifting, Sweden, Koldenhoff, the Netherlands in 15th, Langenfelder of Germany in 16th. They need to score in every race now because Max Nagel had problems, did not finish the race. Everts for Belgium in 17 ahead of Van der Moosdijk, Netherlands, and Petroshin. Then Sievenen, Cairoli 21st, Muse 22nd, Talviku, Jacob Piccolo, and the rest of the riders. But obviously the higher the number, the higher the points as well. It's the lowest scores win, don't forget. Here's how the nations stand after race 1 of MXGP and MX2. France on 11, Belgium 23, already a comfortable lead for Team France. Great Britain are 3rd, and Italy and MFR rounding out the top 5. Good to see Denmark in there as well after that performance from TKO, coming home in 6th position. You can hear the rain on our trackside microphones. We've spoken to Thomas Kjær Olsen. We've seen the results. We're just moments away from some highlights from that MXGP MX2 first race. They're coming up right now, and it was explosive right into turn 1. Look towards the middle of the gate. Tony Cairoli gets a good jump on the number 46. He's trying to get across, but Sabalis and Tonus take Koldenhoff wide. He runs into Cairoli. The two favourites go down. Guadagnini got a good jump from the inside. So too did Tom Vial. And Cairoli and Koldenhoff picking themselves up. Muddy handlebars right from the very first lap. Sabalis led the way, though. Boutron was second for Spain. Vial into third. But then Vial fell coming out of this turn, having just found his way past Boutron. Picked himself back up. And then Boutron was getting caught as Olsen was making charges through the field. He found his way past Arno Tonus, and then this move on Jose Boutron to get himself up into, what was that, second place? And then he banged bars with Sabalis, took over the lead, still had some work to do before the end of the straight, though. Then Vial started to get in on the party. The first MX2 rider in the race was now all of a sudden into second with that move on Sabalis of Latvia. He caught Thomas Kjær Olsen, challenged for the lead, but he could not find a way through. Mattia Guadagnini found his way past Sabalis. He made a mistake. Sabalis caught his rear wheel. He went down from 6th, would eventually finish in 10th place. And on the final lap, Tom Vial had closed in. So too had Ben Watson in third for Team GB. But it was going to be a big win for Denmark in race 1. France second, Great Britain third. Miserable day here in Italy. It's been perfect all week. Well, obviously, people have stayed out from Sardinia last week, the Grand Prix down there. And they've enjoyed some very, very good conditions. 30-odd degrees. It's been 27, 28 since we've been here as well. But right at the start of the race, we had the foxhole shot. And who was it in what was a carnage-infested first turn? Arno Tonus. As Koldenhoff and Cairoli took each other down, Arno Tonus of Switzerland picking up. Okay, for the wife's shoes. So Arno Tonus then taking the first black plate and not black plate, check today. Getting over the line first. Right, take a look at some best moments. Jason and I, just a quick recap then as we sit and listen and watch some of these best moments. So Jason, MXGP, MX2 race 1 is done. Big surprises in terms of gate choices. No surprise with some of the outcomes because of those gate choices. And there are some teams that have left themselves with a lot of work to do.
Well, I think the storyline there is Tony Cairoli. We're all wondering if see him there, how this moto would go. It's probably going to be a throwaway moto score for them, and they've got some work to do now.
Conditions changing all the time. Even Thomas Kjær Olsen, the eventual race winner, alluding to it. The track was getting more and more slippery as it went on. But the first drama we had was going into the first turn here.
Yeah, curious decision by Koldenhoff to go middle there. The inside gates have really dominated the weekend so far, and he sets himself up to have to force the outside there and ends up on the ground.
But a great run for Carlos Sabalis, great one for Tom Vial, and then Thomas Kjær Olsen get himself a win. We've got more to look forward to, of course, a little later on. We'll take a break for about 30, 35 minutes. We're back at 2:30 here. So, yeah, just over 35 minutes time. So, hope you enjoyed race 1. Race 2 will be up next, which will be the MX2 riders and the open class riders. Jason Thomas, Fly Racing, and me, Paul Malin, will be back to bring you all the info and all the action as it happens live. So, we'll see you in about 35 minutes time.